Most people think that finding a profitable business idea is just a matter of trial and error. Try a bunch of things and hope that one idea is going to stick. And that's exactly the approach that causes so many entrepreneurs and business owners to give up before they find their profitable and fulfilling idea. So, what if you could bypass all of that trial and error, at least some of that trial and error, and get to your profitable product idea faster? My name is Marisa Murgatroyd, and I've helped over 10,000 students launch their business online. But when I got started a decade ago, I had no idea what people would actually pay me for. And all I could come up with is I kind of know how to make things look good and sound good and tell a good story, but who's going to pay me for that, right? As an artist and as a filmmaker, knowing how to make things look good and sound good and telling a good story didn't have a huge amount of value. But in a completely different context, in the context of business and marketing, this was everything. It was the most valuable skill set in the world. And I just didn't know what I didn't know. Because while I knew myself, I didn't know my market or the product that I could successfully deliver to that market. And because of that, it took me years to find my profitable business idea. But it doesn't have to take you years, because what I discovered is that the most profitable business ideas are at the intersection of you, your market, and your product. So let me tell you what I mean by that, starting with you. The most profitable business ideas begin by knowing yourself, really getting to know your strengths, your talents, your background, and how you're uniquely designed to build a business, because what works for someone else may or may not work for you. I know, for example, that I'm a high creative. And so the kinds of businesses that I'm really good at building are product-based businesses where I can innovate a new solution that people really, really want. But an engineer would take a very different approach to building a business than me as an artist. And you can be successful in business as either an artist or as an entrepreneur. It's a big mistake to think you've got to be creative or you've got to be technical or you've got to be disciplined or you've got to be this or that or the other. You simply have to be you and figure out where you can provide value to somebody else and find that business model and that profitable idea and that way of working that really suits you. Because like I said, when I first got started, I didn't think that my strengths and my skills and my expertise and background had value. Because while I knew myself, I didn't know the market. And that's the second thing that you need to consider when finding your profitable business idea. In addition to knowing yourself, you need to know your market, because so many entrepreneurs just have an idea, which is something they want to do, but they don't really take the time to slow down and get to know their market and see, is this an idea that other people will buy? Will they pay you money for it? Because even if you've got an idea that's more, let's say, philanthropic, or it's really there to make a difference in the world, when you can get paid for that idea, you're able to get that idea out to way more people and make a much bigger impact than if you could if your idea did not meet the market. And this is really about tuning into exactly who's going to buy your product and why they're going to buy it. In other words, how can you use your specific talents and expertise to solve a problem or deliver a solution that people are actually willing to pay for? And the good news is there are 7 specific criteria that you need to know your market. And it's what I call the profitable niche checklist. So I'm going to walk you through each one of these. And I'm also going to give you a resource, a free resource, a workshop where you can find out even more about these criteria and start to calibrate your idea to the market. So the first criteria is to address a specific and acknowledged market need. Like I said, it's not just a need that you have or something that you think people need, but it's a need that people actually have and are looking for a solution for, right? Technically, everyone could need a lot of things, but if they're not actively acknowledging that need and hoping to solve that need, it's not a market need, okay? Now, the second criteria is that your idea is targeted at a specific kind of person. And ideally, that person self-identifies with the way that you talk about them. So, for example, I worked with someone who helped train dogs. And the identification she came up with is rescue dog lovers. She was working with people who had rescue dogs specifically, and they were training rescue dogs rather than training puppies. Now, could you see that if you said I work with rescue dog lovers to provide the training that they never got, that makes a lot of sense. People would self-identify with being a rescue dog lover. All right, so that's criteria number 2. And criteria number 3 is to identify one specific person who needs that problem solved. It's all well and good to talk about your market as this big, general, broad thing and think that the people are out there. But when you talk about what you do and who you serve, ideally, you can instantly think of at least one person who needs this. And anyone that you're talking to can instantly think of at least one person who needs this. So for example, when I think about rescue dog lovers, immediately my friend Natalie Ledwell comes to mind, and she's got this gorgeous rescue dog. And I can think of at least a dozen other people that I know who've got rescue dogs. My brother has a rescue dog who's really shy and skittish and had a kind of a challenging life ahead of time. So does the neighbors across the street have a rescue dog. And one of them too is completely scared of people. So all 3 of those rescue dogs have a need for particular training, right, to support them. Now, that leads us to criteria number 4, is that whoever you're helping have to be open, willing, and able to pay to have that problem solved. Now, based on what I know about Natalie, my brother Michael, and our neighbors Ron and Jacqueline, all of them really want to provide the best possible life for their dog. That's why they rescued them. So they'd be willing to get that extra level of training and support for the dog to really learn to love its new home and release any trauma of the past. All right, so criteria number 5 is, can you easily reach your target audience? Well, based on those 3 stories I just told about the rescue dog lovers, you can absolutely reach rescue dogs, because not only are you surrounded by people who have rescue dogs, there are all these rescue dog shelters and places all over pretty much every city and every town. So absolutely. Criteria number 6. Are there at least 10,000 people that you can easily reach who need support like this? Well, many people use dog training. And there are way more than 10,000 people who buy rescue dogs or adopt rescue dogs every single year. So I would say absolutely yes. Now, you can build a business around a market that's smaller than 10,000 people that you can easily reach, but you'll just start to hit that ceiling on your business when it's time to scale. So 10,000 people will give you more latitude. And of course, you can serve a bigger market. You can serve a 100,000 person market, a million person market, a 10 million person market, and go really big. But you want to serve at least a 10,000 person market. And sometimes starting small and then broadening out from there is the best way to gain momentum fast. Now, finally, there's criteria number 7, which is you can help this kind of person solve this kind of problem and you enjoy doing it. And for most entrepreneurs, this is the only criteria they focus on. So this is important. You do want to do that. But you really need to check all 7 criteria. I would not recommend building a business or choosing an idea that did not meet all 7 of these criteria if you want it to be a profitable business idea. Now, if you want to go deeper into these 7 criteria, I've got a free masterclass on discovering the business that you're truly meant to build and how to share it with the world. The 7 things that you must have to identify your most profitable and fulfilling dream business. And you can register for that free masterclass at startwithyou.com/masterclass. So go ahead and go deeper into where you meet your market in that masterclass. But before we go, I want to talk about the 3rd thing that you really need to nail to find that profitable business idea. And that is, in addition to knowing yourself, in addition to knowing your market, you've got to know your product. And that's all about how do you package your skills, your knowledge, your expertise into a very specific product or offer or service or anything like that, a package that your market is willing to pay for. Now, this may include, getting really specific about the actual problem you solve for your customer and the results that you deliver through your product, as well as your methodology or how you deliver those results or solve that problem in a way that's different than other people. Maybe you use a specific technique. Maybe you're certified in a particular methodology. You use different ingredients. You have a special formula, whatever it is. So you want to get specific about that product. All right. Now, most people say that success is all about offering the right product to the right market at the right time. And that is true. But I also think it's important to know yourself and understand what's the right product for you. Not just what's the right product, because you could have the product market match, but if it's not the right product for you, you're going to struggle to succeed because something's just going to be off about your energy. And if you're not in that total alignment with what it is that you have to offer and what you're selling, people pick up on that. They want to be working with and hiring and buying from people who are just lit up about what they do. So that's why you need all three of these things, where you meet the market as well as your product. And those are going to be the most profitable business ideas. And that can happen in any industry, in any geography or country around the world. The most profitable ideas are always at the intersection of these three things. All right, my name is Marisa Murgatroyd. Thank you for watching. And I've got a lot of videos like this one. So if this one was useful to you, I've got a couple more you may want to check out. The best businesses to start with no money and no experience, and how to grow and scale a business. You can see links to that right here. All right, see you in some more videos. Now go out there and live your message.